great to be here with you, wherever you are in the world. In fact, it would be awesome, and I would greatly appreciate if you could unmute and just share where you are in, like your name and where you are in the world. That would be really great, just to start with. Who wants to go first? Who's
Lisa?
Hey, Audrey.
Hi, this is Audrey McQuillan, and I'm from Chicago, Illinois.
Great to have you with us, Audrey.
This is
Lisa.
Krista Gray, and I'm located in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Great to have you with us, Krista.
This is Lisa Hine, and I'm located in Woodbury, Minnesota.
Welcome, Lisa.
This is Casey Mears, and I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Great to be with you, Casey.
Hello, my name is Pedro, and I'm coming from Bessigny, Switzerland.
Welcome, Pedro. It must
Hi,
be.
this is Darlene. I'm in Vancouver, Canada.
Oh, welcome. Welcome, Darlene.
Morning, this is Chintzia. I'm in Melbourne, Australia.
Hey, Chintzia. Me too. Fellow early riser.
Yeah, indeed.
Hi, I'm Emma. I'm an Aussie living in Park City, Utah.
Oh, fantastic. I hear Utah is very beautiful.
It is.
I'm Mary, and I'm from France.
Welcome, Mary.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kim. I'm from Kent in England.
Welcome, Kim.
And I'm Nikki. I'm from Hertfordshire in England.
Hey, Nikki. Great to have you with us.
I'm Sylvia, and I'm from London, Ontario, Canada.
Hey, Sophia. Great to be with you. All right, well, let's make a start. Thank you very much for being here. And if you're watching this on a recording, thank you for being here after the fact or in the future. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Raphael. I'm the CEO of Breathe Education. We train Pilates instructors. That is not what this presentation is about. This presentation is about how you, I'm assuming that if you're here, if you're watching this, you're a Pilates instructor, Pilates business owner of some description, how you can raise your prices by 50%. This, I'm going to go through a little presentation. I would love it if you have a question or want to discuss something, that if you just interject and we can have a conversation. If you're feeling super introverted and you don't want to verbally interject, you can type it into the chat. So let's make this a conversation, and I'd love to just chat as things pop up for you rather than sort of waiting till the end, although we can do questions at the end as well. All right, so how to raise your prices by 50%. Firstly, I want to make a case for why you should raise your prices. I'm going to give you some thoughts, not really rules, but thoughts / guidelines on how much you should be charging. And finally, going to talk through my suggested process on exactly how to raise your prices. So what process to go through to communicate with your clients about the price increase and how to implement that. All right, so firstly, why you should raise your prices. Well, you are an artisan. If you're here, you're not an owner of a Globo gym. You're not, you don't run a sausage factory. You are an artisan giving individualized care and attention to your clients. Now, whether you do that literally one-on-one or whether you do it 2-on-1 or 4-on-1 or 15-on-1, that is still, in my mind, that's an artisanal service because you are giving of yourself. It's everything you do is handmade, as it were. So you're an artisan offering a premium service, and you've got a different business model to big box gyms and even very large, studio chains and things like that, because big box gyms have a different business model because they rely on 70% of their clients not showing up. And thus they can charge really low prices because they can have like 4 times the number of clients of actual, that they can actually fit in their gym. You don't have that luxury because you don't have like 45 reformers in your studio and only, 5 people show up. You've got 5 reformers in your studio and 5 people show up, or you've got 1 reformer and 1 person shows up. So you have to actually charge for the clients who show up, not the clients who don't show up. So you can't compete on price because you don't have an acre of studio floor to accommodate all of those extra people who aren't showing up. So you can't compete on price, therefore you can only win by competing on quality. Secondly, charging more will actually result in your clients getting better outcomes. So when you charge more, your clients will be more emotionally invested in the service. And I'm fairly confident that you've experienced this at some point in your life, like probably when you did your Pilates certification. It probably cost you an arm and a leg, okay? And partly as a result of the fact that it cost you an arm and a leg, you were pretty committed to it, and you rearranged your life and your schedule in order to, move mountains to make sure that you were there and you did the work and all the rest of it. And that is the same with your clients. When people spend more to obtain something, they have a greater emotional investment, and therefore they're much more likely to show up and do the work. When they show up and do the work, they get better results. So therefore, simply by raising your prices and doing nothing else differently, you will in fact get better results. This is, I think, now I don't know for each of you, obviously, but my experience talking with a large number of Pilates business owners, whether that be bricks and mortar studios or solo people teaching out of their garage or people doing an online thing, is that most people seem to set their prices by just looking around at what everyone else is charging and then sort of averaging that out and charging that, or even worse, charging a bit less than what everyone else is charging. But don't copy other people's prices because they're not making any money, right? And I as evidence for that, look at all of the names that are on screen here. Okay, if you were really happy with the amount of money that you're making in your business, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't be here today. So look around. All these other people also aren't making money, so don't copy their prices. All right, premium pricing enables you to over-deliver. When you charge more, you have the luxury of spending more time on each client. You can think more about their program. You can reach out to them in between sessions and check on them. You can write home programs for them. You can do goal setting sessions with them. There's lots of extra service that you can provide that will improve their results. And better results and better service will result in happier clients and more referrals. And so that we get to something called the virtuous cycle of high price. So when you charge a high price, that leads to higher commitment from your clients. Higher commitment and high service, because you can spend more time on each client, result in better outcomes for your clients. Your clients are really happy, therefore you can charge a high price because you've got lots of testimonials and lots of referrals. And so it's a self sort of reinforcing cycle. And just from a purely profit-based motivation, if nothing else, the single biggest thing you can do to make more money is just charge more. And the best way to make more money is to just charge more money. And it seems pretty obvious and simple, but hardly anyone does it. But it really is like just charge more equals make more money. All right, so we're going to do a little self-test here. This is not going to go on your permanent record. Okay, I would really be grateful if you would one finger type or whatever you can do, but the keyboard with your head or something to get some answers in here. Garbled, poor grammar is totally fine. Incorrect answers are totally fine. Question mark / don't know is also totally fine. This is great because actively trying to recall information is a really powerful way of reinforcing that information, actually being better at recalling the information. So this is part of the learning process for you. All right, self-test, true or false? You have economies of scale and a business model that relies on 70% of your clients not using the service, which enables you to effectively compete on price. I started out with a pretty easy question, but please do answer it. I know if you're on a phone, you have to sort of switch screens to get into the chat window. All right, and my answer is false. All right, next question. How does charging more lead to better client results? Great answers coming through, team. And lots of people saying more higher prices equals more investment or commitment by the client. You can give better service, and therefore both of those things combined result in better outcomes for your clients. All right, true or false? You should copy everyone else's pricing because they're all making lots of money. And my opinion on that is it's false. All right. How much should you charge? Now, I'm sorry I'm not going to give you a specific figure here because one, we're in different currencies. Two, we're in different economic regions. Three, we all offer different services. So some of us offer 1-on-1s, 2-on-1s, 4-on-1s, 10-on-1s. Etc. So I'm not going to be able to give you a specific figure. I'm happy to talk specific figures I've got opinions based on fact, I think, to some degree, for the UK, the US and Australia, and a little bit in Europe as well. So I'm happy to talk about that if you want. But here are some guidelines I think that you can apply. You don't have to apply all of them. These are just some thoughts. Firstly, you should be top of market. You are an artisan, you're a premium service. Okay, if you look around at the other competitors near you, especially bigger businesses than you should be more expensive than them. That, if you're not more expensive than your competitors, you're not charging enough. Second rule of thumb, charge as much as the clients will pay. Right? If they're willing to pay more, you should be charging more. And how do you know that is if you're not getting price objections, okay, when you onboard a new client or when you talk to somebody and they say, and you tell them the price, okay, if no one ever goes, wow, that's a lot, I don't think I can afford that. If no one ever says that to you, you're not charging enough. And so I'd say like a rule of thumb would be if you kind of lose 1 in 10 clients, like new prospective clients, if you lose 1 in 10 prospective clients because you're too expensive, that's probably, roughly kind of sort of about the right price. So you want to be, not so expensive that no one can afford to use you, but people have a range. There are some people that can afford more, some people that can afford less. And if everyone can afford you, you are probably too cheap. if you employ others, if you're in a bricks and mortar studio or online employing others, you should aim for about a 80% gross margin. And gross margin is simply the cost of, how much you get paid for the session, how much the clients pay you for the session, minus the cost of delivering the session. So if you have, for example, 4 clients in an apparatus session or a small mat session or whatever, and each client is paying you $50 or 50 euros or 50 pounds or 50 pesos or whatever, you're making $200, pounds, pesos or shekels or whatever from the session. Well, if you're paying $40 for the instructor to teach that session, whether that instructor is you or someone else, okay, that's an 80% gross margin. So that's how much you get paid in total for the session minus what it costs you to deliver the session. So 80% gross margin, is something that I would suggest you aim for if you're employing others. Whereas if you are solo, I would suggest you think about a 40% net margin. So net margin is the margin, how much profit is left after you've taken out all of your costs, right? So if you're just like a solo person teaching clients out of your spare room or out of the garage or online or whatever it might be, and you're seeing, say, 1 client at a time, or just say you're charging $100, euros or shekels for that session, well, it should cost you no more than $60 to deliver that session. And that includes what you pay the instructor, that being yourself, electricity, advertising, insurance, website, all of those things combined should total no more than 60% of what you get paid. So you should get paid as an instructor for any work you do, and there should also be a 40% net profit left over after you get paid as an instructor. And that's another guide. Another rule of thumb is and I got this from Leslie Logan, is start with how much you want to earn, right? So if you sort of just imagineer this, to give yourself a little mini offsite, maybe go to the local cafe, stare into space for a bit, do some people watching and think about life, and think like, well, how much would you like to earn in a week or a month or a year? Okay, but a week's a nice easy unit to to calculate. How much do you want to earn in a week? How many sessions do you want to teach in a week? Okay, well, just say you want to earn $1,000 and you want to teach 10 sessions. Well, that tells you need to charge $100 per session. Right, so it's a real simple equation. And that just like how much do you want to earn divided by how many sessions do you want to teach equals how much you must charge per session. Nikki says, what if they never ask about price? Well, you should charge more. If no one's ever asking about price, that says that they're not a price-sensitive market. Therefore, you should charge more. All right. So those are my thoughts on pricing. Does that make sense to you? Do you have any questions about that? Any thoughts on that? Anyone got a different formula? Anyone not clear on gross margin or net margin or anything else? All right, onwards and upwards. Let's see. List 3 guidelines. So I gave you 5 or 6. List 3 guidelines for setting your price. Great, really, really good. Seeing some good answers come through. And there's a question from Darlene, which is, what about clients that ask the price and then never come? and that's pretty common in every industry. You're going to have a certain percentage of people inquiring who don't end up becoming clients. But that's really a question about sales conversations. So when somebody emails or DMs or walks into the studio or calls you, and the first thing they say is, how much are the sessions? The answer to that question should never be, they're this much. The answer to that question should be, tell me why you're interested in doing Pilates. Right? Well, presumably you offer sessions at different prices. I'm imagining, maybe I could do one-on-ones with you. I could do, group sessions. You could give me a program that I could work at from home. There's probably different ways that you work with people. And so how much are the sessions? It's like if you went to the dentist, if you rang up the dentist and said, how much is dentistry? It's like, well, it depends what's wrong with your teeth. It depends on what you need, right? So if your dentist was responsible, they would say, all right, well, tell me what you're looking to have done. What's the problem? And they would find out what your problem is. And then they would give you, explain how they could help you and say, and that will cost this much, right? And that's what you should do with your prospective clients as well. When they ask the price, don't just say, oh, it's $25 if you come in a group, or it's $80 if you come one-on-one. Just say, well, tell me why you're interested in Pilates. And then they'll say, oh, well, I've had a sore back lately or whatever, okay? And then you get into that conversation, understand what they actually need, okay? Understand the obstacles that are preventing them from solving that problem by themselves. Maybe they've tried exercise before and they didn't stick with it. They don't trust themselves. They lack motivation. They don't have enough time. They've, whatever it might be. Okay, then you explain to them how you can help them solve those obstacles and achieve their goal. Okay, and then you say, and that will cost you this much. Right? So now they have a context on not just the price, but actually what they get for the price. Does that make sense? That's a whole nother conversation about how to have sales conversations. But basically, when someone asks you the price, don't just tell them the price. Ask them what they want to achieve, why they're interested, and then try and understand what they need and how you can help them. What specific way will be best for you to help them. Would they be better in weekly one-on-ones or twice a week one-on-ones, or will they be fine in the group mat class at the local church hall? Should you write them a program from home, etc.? And then explain how you're going to help them, and then tell them how much that's going to cost them. So you never just give the price after you've explained what they get for the price. All right, now we get into the how to raise your prices. Now, the how is actually very easy. So I just want to talk for a moment about the biggest obstacle here is your limiting beliefs around price and your fear that by raising your price, you're going to lose your clients. People are going to get angry and yell at you. You're potentially your imposter syndrome, feeling like you're not worth that much because you quote, just teach mat Pilates, or you just work out of your garage, or you just give online classes, or you don't have a big fancy bricks and mortar studio, or you don't have, XYZ qualification, or you're, whatever, you're too old, too young, the wrong shape, too tall, too short, whatever it might be, okay, that you feel is, makes you not qualified to charge more. That is a limiting belief, because I promise you there are Pilates instructors right now who are less qualified, less smart, less dedicated, less caring, less skilled than you, who are charging more than you, and their clients are happily paying it. So, and so that's a thing. And I know that those thoughts and those feelings are very, they can be very powerful, but know that they are not reality. They are that's your mind fucking with you, right? Your thoughts are not reality. The second thing is that a lot of people fear that clients just simply can't afford it. Oh, other people charge more, but my clients can't afford it, okay, because I live in a small village, or my clients are retired, or my clients are single parents, or, my clients can't afford it, basically. Well, it might be true that your clients can't afford it. And if your clients genuinely can't afford to pay a price that enables you to make a profit, you have chosen the wrong market. If you set up a business teaching Pilates to unemployed single mothers, that is a laudable mission, but you are never going to make money doing that. And so I'm not saying that's good or bad, but if you want to make a profit, you want to pay your bills and put your kids through school and all of those things, unemployed single mothers is not a good market to be in. Unemployed anyone, really. So if you do some reflection and soul searching and realise that your clients genuinely can't afford to pay the price that you need to charge in order to make a decent living, you need to change to a different market if you want to make a decent living. The second possibility is your clients actually can afford it, but they're giving you a little bit of friction and you're caving. Right? In every town, like if you're in a small village, if you're in a rural area, if you're in a depressed inner city area, whatever, there are people in your neighbourhood who pay lots of money for shoes, for phones, for cars, for clothing, for restaurants, for holidays, for all kinds of things. Right? People can afford stuff when it's a priority for them. Right? I guarantee you that person who's saying I can't afford, £60 for a one-on-one Pilates session is probably walked in with a £500 bag, or a $1,000 suit, or a $50,000 car. Okay, so that becomes a matter of priority. And, I'm sure you've seen in your area, there are for instance, restaurants, maybe very down market restaurants that struggle. And in 2 blocks away, there's a very upmarket restaurant that's full. Right? Or same with clothing, the dollar store is struggling, but 2 blocks away, there's someone selling tracksuits for $300. So it's a matter of priorities in most cases. And there are some groups that just genuinely can't afford, £70 for a one-on-one Pilates session. And if that's the true of your group, then you need to find a different market. But look at, if your person comes in wearing a Gucci suit or drives in a new car or whatever, it's they can afford it. And if you just look around your local area and there are businesses, in different industries, restaurants, clothing stores, whatever it might be, charging premium prices, well, people can afford it. Okay, so what do affluent people in your neighbourhood, do to spend their money? Well, one of the things they can do is come and do Pilates with you. All right, so now if people, your mindset, I think, is the biggest impediment here. The fear that your clients will leave, 99% of the time, is not justified. We have a long and glorious history of raising our prices at Breathe Education. Something like 2015 or 2015, when we first started offering our diploma, it was 3,800 Australian dollars. We have put our prices up multiple times over the years. We've done price increases ranging between 25% up to 80%. We've done an 80% price increase. And our current price is 14,000 Australian dollars, 10,000 US dollars for that diploma. Now, we've improved the diploma a lot over that period. And every time we've increased the prices, we've experienced essentially between 0 and 5% drop in how many enrollments we get. Right? So when we increased our prices by 80%, we got about a 5% decrease in enrollments. And if you do the math on that, we're charging 80% more. We've got 5% fewer students. We're still very, very far ahead, on that. Lisa says, how often should you do a price increase? I think minimum once a year. I'm going to recommend, once to twice a year. And you should plan to do that like clockwork every January and July, or, whatever month. I think January and July are good months because they kind of feel like kind of a natural, cycle. And you just train your clients that that's a regular thing to expect. 1st of January, prices go up. By how much? Well, you should be top of market. You should be 40% gross margin, 80% net margin. If no one complains, you need to raise your prices more. So I think if, your initial price increase that you do tomorrow morning should get you to that top of market position. Okay. And then from there, 10%, 20% per year, rough rule of thumb. Okay. And basically, the equation that I would use is, are you financially better off, worse off, or the same after raising your price, right? So just say you raise your prices 20% and 10% of your clients cancel. Well, you're making more money for less time now. Great, right? Just say you raise your prices 20% and 30% of your clients cancel. Well, now you're making less money. So that was probably too big of an increase, or maybe you've just got the wrong clients, okay, and you'll get new clients that will work with the increase. But as a general rule of thumb, just look at the result, the financial result, and that tells you whether that was too much, too little, or just about right, right? If you raise your prices and no one leaves, you probably didn't raise them enough. That's my rule of thumb. Now, I think you should raise them well beyond inflation. I don't think you should aim to just keep pace with inflation. I think you should envisage a shiny future, say in a few years, where you are charging so much that every time a client, walks in the door, you're like, yes, right? And you have no financial worries and those financial pressures of when you're at the checkout of the supermarket, wondering if your credit card is going to be declined, okay, that you don't experience that. That's my hope for you. All right, let's continue. This is the nitty gritty. How to raise your prices. So firstly, give 28 days notice. Okay, give people plenty of notice. Now, 28 days or whatever your billing cycle is. Like if you bill people every calendar month or whatever, give them a calendar month of notice. So that they have the opportunity, like just say I'm on a 28-day billing cycle, and you let me know that the prices are going up in 28 days. That means I've got the opportunity, if I want, to cancel and not be charged at the higher rate, right? So that's just kind of being fair and transparent, and communicate multiple ways. One of the things that I've learned over the years, and it's a lesson I've had to learn multiple times, is that when you just say something once, almost no one will hear it. And a rule of thumb is communicate it 7 times. Okay, and then 51% of people will recall it, right? So it's like when you feel like you are way over communicating, you're probably under communicating. Because your business, you're super passionate about your business, you love your business, you probably think about your clients and your business a lot, okay? But for your clients, it's just 1 hour in their week, okay? They're busy thinking about their kids and their job and all of their other things that are going on. They give your business a very tiny amount of their attention. I mean, think about it. When you receive an email from like Netflix or Apple saying, oh, our terms and conditions are updated, like, do you read that shit? No one does, right? And that's probably how much your clients care about your terms and conditions and your pricing policy and whatever, right? So, tell people 7 times and make it really simple, and then some of them will get the message. Explain your reasons. Okay, so don't just say, hey, there's a price increase on such and such a date. Say, hey, here's why I need to make a price increase. And I'll talk you through my suggestion on how to do that in a sec. And if you want, now I don't necessarily recommend this, but it's like if you want, and if you have that, if you feel like, it's not fair, there are certain clients that I really love working with and I know they genuinely can't afford the higher price and whatever, it's like, how can I accommodate those people? Well, I would say whatever you do, don't give different special rates for different people, right? Because that way lies chaos. And if you're already living in that where you've got different clients paying different rates for the same service, that's a pain. And often you come to resent those clients because they're paying less for the same service that someone else is paying more for. So I would say, create a lower priced option that involves you doing less work, right? So just say you're putting your one-on-one prices up from, £50 to £70. And then I say, look, you know what, I love working with you. I just can't afford £70, right? 50 is my absolute maximum. I haven't bought shoes for 3 years just so I can come to Pilates every week with you, right? I just can't do more than 50. Well, you could say, well, all right, well, let's keep you on, doing one-on-ones, but let's drop to every second week, right? And that way it's £35 per week, right? Rather than 70. And in fact, it's cheaper than what you're currently paying at 50. And I'll write you a home program that you can do in the, days when you're not here, right? So that would be you're still making your £70 per session, right? Which preserves your profit margin, but their cost is, less, right? So that's basically lower price point for less service, not lower price point for the same service. So Kate says, so standard service versus VIP. Yeah, so there are a few ways that you can do that, and I'll talk through a couple of suggestions, but there are lots of ways that you can offer a lower price service for less, that's less effort for you to deliver, less costly for you to deliver, that preserves your margins. Apply a price increase with everyone or start with your new clients only, right? So you can apply to existing clients plus new clients, or you can say, hey, my existing clients, you guys get to keep your current price for now, and we'll just apply the price increase for the new clients. When someone says, but I've been with you from day one, you can say, and I deeply appreciate that, and here's why I have to increase my prices. Now, the other thing is expect to lose a small number of clients. Okay, so when you increase your prices, if you increase them enough, you will lose a couple of clients. Right? If you lose no clients, you didn't increase your prices enough. If you lose half your clients, you probably increase your prices too much. All right, so firstly, give 28 days notice. That's just pretty simple. I think it's fairly self-explanatory. Tell people the specific date the price rise will take effect, and give them the opportunity to buy passes at the current lower price. So you can actually advertise this as a bonus and make a bit of extra cash. If you send out an email, put up notices on the back of the toilet door, the studio, etc., say, hey, on such and such a date in 28 days, the price is going up to this much. I just wanted to give you the opportunity between now and then, if you wanted to stockpile a few passes at the current price, now's your chance. And almost certainly you will have a very good sales month in that 28 days, because people will go, I'll buy 310 passes. Communicate multiple ways, so email, video, just a little phone video of yourself, set to YouTube as unlisted sort of thing, SMS, notices around the studio, closed social media groups if you've got a Facebook group for your studio or your clients or whatever, not publicly, but just basically, wherever you can communicate, and explain your reasons. So I've got a little template that I want to share with you in a sec, but basically this is the kind of format that I suggest. Firstly, acknowledge that, you're grateful for them being a client and you love working with them. Okay. And be specific. Don't just say, I love working with you. Say, I love working with you because, insert the reasons that you love working with them. And then explain why you've got to make the price increase, right? So I love running this business, but I'm actually making a loss. It's not sustainable. I can't pay for my bills. At my current rates, I need to increase my prices. And then explain why it's good for them. Okay, that you're going to be increasing your service, and say, if you have got a specific plan of how to increase your service, and I'll give you a couple of suggestions on how you can do that in very cost-effective ways, explain how it's going to benefit them. So for instance, you could say, I'm now going to give you, SMS accountability check-ins every week, or I'm going to, be updating your program on a regular basis, or we're going to start doing a goal-setting session once a month, or we're going to have social nights, or, insert additional benefit here that is valuable to them but doesn't take a lot of time for you. And then you can put in this little clause at the end, which is, if this will cause you significant financial hardship, give me a call. Right? And that kind of opens the door to the person who's genuinely can't afford the price increase to have a conversation, right? But the soccer mum who drove up in the $50,000 SUV, who just thinks, oh, darn it, I'll have to, go out to dinner one time less per week, okay? That it's not genuine financial hardship. Like it's also saying to that person, it's like, yeah, I'm not interested in having a conversation with you. I'm interested in having a conversation with people who will genuinely experience significant financial hardship. And then use the template which I've provided, which is there. So when we post the recording of this video, underneath the video will be a link to the PDF of these lecture slides, and you can download that. And when you click on this, it will take you to this document, which is a Google Doc, which is I've shared with you as read only. So you can basically just select it all and then copy it and paste it into a Word document or Google Doc or whatever document you want to use, and then you can customize this. So this is the email that I suggest you send. There's a subject, and this basically just says, as you may or may not know, I've been operating my Pilates business for, however long you've been operating your Pilates business for, and you've been an integral part of that. An email like this can never convey how much value I value having you as a client, and how deeply grateful I am for the many things that you do that make you a great client, showing up on time, always being cheerful, paying on time. So say true things about what you love about working with your client. Add a little personal anecdote. I'm especially grateful for you bringing your friend, husband, sister, workmate, etc. along. And for you recommending me others in your circle, that really means a lot to me. You may not know this, but I am, whatever your situation is, a single mother, a student just starting out in business, a retiree, this is my second job, whatever. I've spent thousands of dollars, pounds or euros and years on my professional education, but something I've not been very good at is being a good business owner and understanding the realities of running a small business. That being said, just like you, I'm working every day to grow and improve, and just like you invest in me as a coach for your health and fitness, I've recently invested in business coaches. Now, if that's not true, don't write it, but it's like I've been educating myself on business and whatever. Understand my numbers, improve the service I offer you. Now that I've been forced to look at my numbers, I realise that with my current, and if you're in the US, you want to put a Z on that, I realise with my current pricing and cost structure, the business is not viable to continue to trade and improve my offering. I need to implement a price increase will take effect from such and such. For you, this will mean the price fees will increase by X amount, and this change will take effect from such and such a date. Along with this price increase, I'm planning several major improvements in service to give you more accountability, support, community, and even better results. So that could be the SMS accountability check-ins, goal-setting sessions, social gatherings, whatever it might be. I'll let you know about those over the coming months as I implement them, or if you've already got specific plans on what you want to do for people to improve the service that you offer, list those here. Thanks again for being such a great client. I really appreciate you. Love/kind regards/yours in health. P.S. If this will cause you significant financial hardship, please reach out to me. Like I said, I value you as a client. I want to continue to work with you. So that is my suggested template. I don't suggest you literally use that exact email. I suggest you use that as a basis and then personalize it to your style, your clients, your situation. But that is we've used that with several of my clients successfully. And yes, I suggest sending individual emails so that it's personalized to each person. Now, obviously if you've got like 300 clients, let's rethink that. But if you've got 10, 20, 30, 40 clients, I think you can send individual emails to people. It won't be like everyone's email won't be totally different, but it'll be like, personalised, to them.
Yes, Raphael, I just asked a question. Marie would be okay, sorry.
No, I can hear you.
Yep. You can see, okay. Hi, everybody. Yes, so I was asking, what if I charge 12-month memberships? Because I don't do cards or whatever. I do 12 months or 3 months. So if they already got the membership like 2 weeks or maybe 2 months ago, how should I put that increase and arrange it so that it fits the new situation?
So if somebody's on a contract, essentially they've promised to pay you the money for 12 months every month, and you've promised to do it.
They already paid. They already paid because they pay in advance.
Yeah. So, well, you can't raise the price on that. You have to wait till they buy the next year's membership.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I would still send an email to those people, but I would say, this won't affect your current membership, and so you will only need to pay, the new price on such and such a date, next year when you renew your membership. But just heads up, FYI,
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
All right. Lower price options for a lower level of service. So you could give less frequent sessions, larger groups. So maybe, they could switch from 1-on-1s to 4-on-1s or 4-on-1s to group mat classes or whatever. They could come at off-peak times. You could write a home program and, they could miss out every second session or every fourth session or whatever. But whatever option you offer them should still preserve your profit margin, right? So this is not, I'm agreeing to take a hit for you. This is, we are both finding a way where we both get value, right? You get to have access to Pilates at a lower price and I get to make a profit. Not just me or you as the studio owner, giving charity to somebody. All right, so you can apply the increase to everyone across the board, including your original gangsters, the sort of your current clients who've been with you for ages, or you can apply it to new clients only. If you apply it to everyone, you are going to massively increase your profits right away. Like on day 29, your profits will, massively increase, but you'll have more friction from your current clients. There'll be, some whinging. There'll be 1 or 2 people probably cancel their memberships or, not repurchase passes or whatever. Whereas if you apply it to new clients only, it's super easy, right? Because the original gangsters, the OGs, the current clients, they won't have any resistance because nothing's changing. And the new clients, what you'll find is they'll have no resistance as well, because they don't have a current expectation of the price being something and now it's going up. You just tell them the new price and they will be like, okay. So that way is much easier. But you will make a much slower increase in profit because your current clients will keep paying the lower price. But when you apply it to new clients only, as your business builds and as your classes fill up, okay, and when you've got enough people paying the new price, you can then go back and say to your original clients, hey, in 28 days, we're putting your price up to the current price. And you could say that like, okay, I don't know if you know, but 6 months ago, we did a price increase and current clients are paying this and you've been on this lower rate, okay? And so as of such and such a date, I'm going to bring you up in line with our current clients. So that would be my suggestion, one or other of those. And expect to lose a few clients, okay? Because when you put your prices up, it won't suit everybody, okay? But in my experience, the clients that you lose are most likely to be your most painful, high-maintenance clients. You'll gain new, fun, low-maintenance clients who are happy to pay the higher price, and that's okay. It's okay if you lose clients. you'll gain clients. That's life. If you increase your prices 50% and lose 10% of your clients, which is what I would expect you would lose no more than 10%, okay, you're now making 35% more for 10% less work, right? So if we just think about the math of that, okay, if you're charging €100 for a session, okay, and you put your prices up 50% to €150, okay, so now you're making €150, but you lose 10% of your clients, okay, so you lose €15, as it were, okay, on average. So now you're making €135, right? So you're now teaching 10% fewer sessions and making 35% more money. That sounds like a good plan in my book. So if you lose a few, that's okay. If you lose half your clients, you probably raised your prices too much. And if, that is like, I've never seen that happen. And we have done 80% price increases and lost 5%. Right? So I just think it's unbelievably unlikely that you will lose more than 10% of your clients. And they're very likely to be the most painful 10%. All right, self-test. Please type it into the chat, or if you're watching this after, don't just listen and daydream. Say these answers in your mind. This will help you understand these concepts. How much notice should you give your clients? And I'm going to recommend like 28 days / a month / one billing cycle, basically, is how much notice you should give them. What method should you use to communicate the changes? And I'm going to say everything. Email, SMS, notices on the studio door, videos, closed Facebook groups, all of the above. True or false? You should explain your reasons for increasing your prices. I'm going to suggest that's true. True or false? You can use the template I've provided you and personalize it to your own style and situation. That answer's true as well. Give an example of a lower priced option for a lower level of service that preserves your profit margin. So what could you do for that person who genuinely can't afford the price rise and still wants to work with you that will enable them to still work with you whilst you make a profit? Great. So I'm seeing lots of versions of do less frequent sessions and maybe give them the home program or offer them larger, to join a larger group. So some really, really great options there. All right. And finally, what are the pros and cons of increasing your prices for everyone at once versus for new clients only? What are the pros and cons of increasing the prices for like just ripping the Band-Aid off and doing it for everyone versus leaving your current clients on their existing price and then increasing the price for new clients only? Okay, I'm seeing answers come through that if you increase for the new clients only, it's much easier. There's no resistance from your existing clients, but the profit increase will be much slower. Whereas if you increase for everyone across the board, you'll get much more profit in a shorter space of time, but you'll probably have some friction from your original clients and probably lose a couple of them. And you'll lose a couple of them, regardless of when you increase the prices. It's just a matter of, do it now or do it later. All right. Cinzia, do you have your hand up for a question?
Yes, I do, Raph. So I just wanted to ask, if you have to go into an organisation and do like a big class because they're having like a health and safety month or whatever, how do you set a price for that as opposed to having your little studio set up at home and have one-on-one client?
Well, I would kind of apply the same equation that I suggested of basically, how much money do you want to make per week? How many sessions do you want to teach? Divide that by that equals how much you need to charge per session. And I would sort of set that as your hourly rate, So your charge out, right? Like if you want to teach, if you want to make 2,000 a week and you want to teach 10 sessions, it means you've got to make 200 per session, which you're going to struggle to do teaching one-on-ones. But if you've got a group of 10 people on a mat paying 20 each, that's 200. Or if you've got 4 people in a bespoke small situation paying 50 each, that's 200, right? So if you can make 200 an hour or 200 a session at your studio, and I want you to come and teach at my corporate wellness retreat, well, your charge out rate should be 200 an hour, but you've got to factor in travel time. Okay, so, it's like basically, I would charge 200 an hour for whatever time it's going to take you. Whatever your number is. Like, I'm not saying 200 an hour is the right number. It's like whatever your number is that you want to make. And the thing about, when you have, when you increase your prices, it won't suit everyone. Okay, and you may get people saying no, and that's okay. Because they're saying no, they don't want to work with you at a higher price, but they're happy to work with you at a lower price, well, you'll find other people that'll work with you at a higher price. So, yeah. All right. So we said we're going to talk about why you should raise your prices, and I only gave you 5 or 6 of the 999 reasons why you should raise your prices. I'm happy to talk through the other 993 reasons if you want. How much you should charge, and we basically said there are a few rules of thumb. There's no sort of hard and fast rule, but you should be top of market. You shouldn't just copy what everyone else is doing. You should charge as much as your clients are willing to pay. If no one's objecting to the price, that's a sign that you're not charging enough. If you're losing about 1 in 10 of those prospective clients to price objections, like they're just saying, hey, look, I'd love to work with you, but I just can't afford it. If you're losing about 1 in 10 people like that, that's probably, you're roughly kind of sorta in the right spot. Or you should aim for an 80% gross margin if you employ others, or a 40% net margin if you're a solo operator. How to communicate the changes to your clients. We said give them a billing cycle of notice, communicate every which way, including smoke signals and jungle drums, and explain your reasons, and use the template if you want. And personalize that. And then if you want to, you can give them a lower priced option for lower level of service that still preserves your profit margin. All right. So that's all I had to say. If you want to chat, I'm sorry if you've asked a question in the chat, I missed it. So please ask it again. And if you want to just unmute and verbalize and chat, offer a thought or a question, love to hear it. If not, we're done.
Mom, Claire was drawing on the... Sorry, Raph, hi.
Hi.
Angela here. I don't have my video off because I'm still in my pajamas, so I won't do that. Can I just ask, so I run a pretty basic system from home in terms of I don't have a website. I use my Instagram. Everyone just texts me. So I run it essentially like a PT service that everyone just has their weekly spot. They book in with me. It's 2 reformers and that's all I have in the session. Do you think there's then that expectation that I should be taking it up a notch in terms of how I look professionally, that I should have a website? I should use like Acuity?
No.
No? Because that's what I'm starting to feel. I'm like, do I make the price increase like $10 more a session each and make it like a real thing? Because and then it seems, I don't know. Or do I just increase it another $5 now and then another?
That's your clients don't care about those things, right? If you're a big studio with like 15 reformers and everyone's booking, doing their own bookings and rescheduling whatever every week, it's like you not having a booking system is a major inconvenience for your clients, okay? But if I have a set session with you every Thursday at 6 p.m, it's like, what do you need a booking system for?
Yeah.
I know when my session is.
Exactly, which is why, and no one wants it. Like they're like, it's so easy with you. They don't need to, yeah.
I currently
but that shouldn't affect my price.
No, not at all. I currently have several business coaching clients paying me $2,000 for it's basically $250 a session, right? I don't have a website for that. I don't have business cards. I don't have a booking system. I just literally do it here from this is my spare bedroom in my home. It's like people pay for the results they get, not for how shiny your website is or whether you're in a commercial space, right? If they trust you to deliver those results, you're worth the money.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. I'm just going to bite the bullet and do it. I've got to lose. And I actually want to work less. So that's the whole thing. I'm probably too cheap and got too many clients that I need to cut back. And just earn the same money. Yes.
Or even cut back.
Anyway, that's been invaluable. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you.
Hi, Raph. Can I ask a question?
Please.
So I know we're talking about raising prices and how to do it. I know that's what this is about, but it kind of feels like I'm struggling a little bit with the concept of raising prices for prospective new clients or people coming through the door for the first time or wishing to, because with like in my particular area, with a bit more competition, I have finally got my head around, I am the most expensive in the area. But to get people through the door, which is always the hardest thing, yay! But getting people through the door, which is the hardest thing, has made me feel like I was about to offer silly prices to get people in the door, like silly, and I'm like, oh, should I be doing that? I don't know. I just feel a bit.
Yeah. All right. So there's two ways. There's two basic sort of ways or offers that you can put to get people in the door, and so most places do a different offer to get people in the door than they do to people who stay, right? So basically you come in, like a lot of places will do 5 classes for $50 or first class free or try it for a month for this much money or whatever. So there's some kind of intro offer. And then there's a different offer that's like, okay, and if you want to stay, you can buy a 10-pack or you can do a monthly membership or, here are your options. So, and I think that's a good plan. That seems to work well, having some kind of different, intro sort of entry point, different offer. And there are two ways you can do that. One is the low price thing. So it's like, 5 classes for $50 or 5 classes for $5 or whatever, some version of try it for a bit for a low price. Okay. And the virtue of that is it reduces the barrier to entry, makes it easier for people to, give it a go. And so you get more people giving it a go. The drawback of that is the people giving it a go have a very low level of commitment, right? They're like, $5, what can it hurt? I'll give it a go. And then they have a low level of commitment. And so they're kind of trying it and they're trying the experience. So you're going to get, more people showing up for that offer, but fewer of those people converting to become long-term clients. Right, because they just have a lower level of commitment. Whereas the other way you can do it is a high-priced intro. So maybe your regular sort of ongoing membership or class pack or whatever is, let's say it's, I don't know. Well, how much is your if I work with you a couple of times a week, how much is that going to cost me?
I mean, it depends if it's mat or reformer. If let's say you're doing one mat class and one reformer, you're going to be paying like £35 a week for one mat and one reformer a week.
Okay, so I'm paying £35 a week if I want to work with you ongoing a couple of times a week. Well, if you did, say, a 6-week introductory course, right, that is a set time each week, twice a week, so it's Mondays and Wednesdays at 7 a.m., right, whatever time, right, and it's one mat and one reformer. So it's the same amount of stuff that I'm getting, right, but it's a course, right, so it's not like 12 casual classes. It's like 12 specific sessions over a 6-week period, and it's designed to give me a result, right? So whatever result your clients come to you for, okay? So, and that's going to be different for each of us. Some of us work particularly with people who have aches and pains or injuries. Other people like to work with, older people who want to be more mobile. Some people like to work with postmenopausal women to get rid of their aches and pains, or what, it's like whatever your particular thing is that clients come to you for. That's the result that you design this intro program around. So it would be something like, 6-week, back pain relief course or something like that, right? So it's 6 weeks, here's the result you get, and it's a course, it's a program, it's not just a bunch of casual classes. And what you'll find is you will get fewer people signing up for that, because it's like, and you would charge, say, 6 weeks, £35, you'd charge like £300 for that, right? So it's £50 a week, right? But you're not charging £50 a week. It's £300 for a course to overcome your back pain or get back to playing golf or whatever the result is that people come to you for. So you'll get fewer people signing up for that, right, than you will for the 5 classes for £5 offer. But if I sign up, but you'll still get people signing up for it if you choose the right result, and if you are able to target those people either through Google Ads or whatever it might be. If I come to you and pay you £300 to help me with my back pain, and then you say at the end of that 6 weeks, hey, Raph, how are you feeling? I'm like, I'm feeling fantastic doing those sessions. I'm feeling more limber. My back's hurting less. I'm able to bend over and pick up the kids again, and you're like, well, would you like that to be a temporary feeling, or would you like to continue to have this feeling, on an ongoing basis? I'm like, well, I want to continue to have this feeling. And you're like, okay, well, you've been paying, £50 a week for the last 6 weeks. How would you like to continue to do it for £35 a week? I'm like, really? That's awesome. Where do I sign? Right? So that you'll get a very close to 100% conversion from those people who do that program to becoming ongoing clients. Right? Neither of those, like the low price entry or the high price entry, neither is inherently better or worse, but they just have different benefits and drawbacks. So the low priced entry is great if you need a lot of volume, right? If you're a studio and you've got, 10, 15, 20 spots in a mat class, you just need bums on mats, right? You don't just need like 2 people to walk in the door every second week or whatever. You need like 10 people a week to come into your sessions. Like, have an intro offer, get volume through. Whereas if you are a tiny operator with 1 or 2 or 3 or even 4 spots in your session and you're only teaching 10 sessions a week, so it's like you literally just need like 20 clients total and you're booked out, right? Then I think you're much better to have a more expensive intro offer, because you'll get fewer people, you'll be able to give them much better service, and they will almost like 100% convert to becoming ongoing clients. And you'll have to run that intro offer twice a year, right? Because you will be full the rest of it. Like you'll get, 4 people doing your 6-week program for £300 and 4 of them will become ongoing clients, right? Do that twice a year and you're booked solid, right? So
that's really interesting. Thanks. Really interesting. Thank you.
But that program has to be based around a result, right? It's not just come and try it for 6 weeks. It's come and achieve this result that's really important to you as a client in 6 weeks, whatever the result is. Like do your first pull-up, or, get back to gardening, get back to surfing, get back to playing with your kids, whatever it might be, right? Whatever the thing is that people come to you for. Kate says, can you please do a live session on different service options or programs that you can offer clients, e.g. what you can do for one-on-one, what you can do for group sessions. I'm building my business model at the moment, and this would be extremely helpful. I hope this makes sense. Yeah, in fact, look, I'm happy to just go. I've got a little spreadsheet I was thinking about sharing with you guys. We're way over time already. If you want to stick around in a minute, I'll share that with you. It basically shows you how to model that out, and I'll link to that underneath the video. So it's a real simple little spreadsheet. Audrey says, can you help me with a problem I'm having with a getting started module? Did the pre-exercise questionnaire. Is that relating to a course you're doing with us at Breathe Education, Audrey? If it is, I'm going to send the student success team to you. If that's something else that I've misunderstood, please let me know. Emma said, I don't think that free options work. Yeah, typically free options, you'll get a lot of people in the door, but most of them don't buy and they're pains up the backside. That's my experience as well. And that just basically from the perspective of they're coming just because it's free, not because they're highly committed to doing it. So I will share, let me see if I can share that spreadsheet with you. And this is a model. Let me find it and then I'll share my screen with you. This is a model that, is that the model? No, that's not the one. That is the one. All right, so let's make this bigger so you can see it. So can you guys see that now? If you squint, can you make out the numbers? Do you need me to make it bigger? So all of the slides from today will be under the video recording, so you can download the slides and click on the link for the template. All right, so basically this is just a super simple little spreadsheet that I put together where you can just put in the numbers in the yellow squares and leave all the other squares, and the other squares will change themselves based on what you put in the yellow squares. So what you put in here is like, okay, your annual revenue goal, like how much money do you want to make per year? Like not profit, but like how much, revenue do you want to make? So I've put in 720,000. You could put like 100,000, whatever number, right? You just put in whatever number you want. And this is in dollars, obviously, but it's like, it could be pounds or euros or pesos or whatever. And then and I've said, I'm assuming that you're trading 48 weeks a year. Okay, so you've got 4 weeks off for annual holidays and family time or whatever. And you can change that if you want. So I probably should put that one yellow. And that tells you that, all right, if I want to make $100,000 in the year and I'm working 48 weeks a year, well, each of those 48 weeks, I've got to make $2,083. And so here we've got 3 models of how you could do that. So we could do semi-private. So that might be like 2, 3 or 4 clients per session. And then we've got a large group model where you might have like, 10 plus clients per session. And then we've got a one-on-one model where you're just seeing one client at a time. Okay? And we can just play with each of those. So just say we're doing, let's say we're doing a one-on-one model, right? And so what you do is you put in your price. So if I'm charging, $160 for 2 sessions, so I'm charging $80, euros, pounds, whatever, per session. Okay. Well, that means to hit my $2,083 per week revenue that I want in order to hit my $100,000 per year, if I'm charging that much, okay, I need 13 clients in total, right? So if I've got 13 clients coming twice a week each and I'm charging them $80 a session, I'm going to make $2,083 per week, right? And if I've got 13 clients and they're each coming twice a week, I need to do 26 sessions, right? So that tells me how many sessions I'm going to be teaching. Okay. And assuming that I'm paying my instructor $50, pounds, euros or shekels, okay, my total weekly instructor cost is that, therefore my gross margin is that, therefore my annual gross profit is that. Right, so that's how much profit you make, assuming that, that's additional to what you're paying yourself to teach the sessions. Okay. Whereas if I'm doing a semi-private model, okay, and this is for the same goal of making $100,000 a year, working 48 weeks a year, okay, if I'm doing 4 clients per session, okay, and each client gets 3 sessions per week, and I'm charging $129 per week. Well, I need 16 clients to hit my revenue goal. 16 clients, 4 clients per session, 3 sessions per week. I need 12 sessions. Paying my instructor $50. Those are my goal. That's my annual gross profit. And we can change that and say, all right, what if my clients only came twice per week? Well, then I'd only need to teach 8 sessions. What if I charged $100 for 2 times a week instead of $130 for 3 times a week? Well, now I'd still need to teach. I'd need 21 clients. So I'd need to teach 10 sessions. So I'd be teaching 10 sessions a week with 4 clients in them, charging $100 for 2 sessions a week, semi-private, and I would make my $100,000 a year. Does this make sense to you? Like, not necessarily like following all the exact numbers, but does the concept of just filling in the blanks and you can just see what comes out, does that make sense? So you can see, like, okay, how many sessions would I have to teach to earn that amount of money per year, at the end of the year? And so you can just play around with this and you can say, okay, what would happen if I had only 3 clients in my sessions? Well, now I'd have to teach 14 sessions. I have to teach more sessions to service that same number of clients. What if I only had 2 clients in my sessions? Well, now I'd have to teach 21 sessions to service that number of clients. And so, yes, you can still make the same amount of money, but you're just working harder, working more for it because you're seeing fewer clients at the same time. So and so I'll share the link to that file for you. It's real basic, but I'll cut to the conclusion. Like, when you play around with that, what you'll find is if you want to make really good profit, the best models are 4-on-1. Because for a 4-on-1, you don't charge 1/4 of what you charge for a 1-on-1. Right? If you're charging, say, $70 or $80, just say you're charging $80 or pounds for a 1-on-1, you can charge $50 for a 4-on-1. Right, so you can charge like 60% of what you charge for a 1-on-1, but you've got 4 clients in the room. So you're getting 240% of what you would get for a 1-on-1, right? And in my view, the clients get just as much value almost out of a 4-on-1 because, like, when you teach a 1-on-1, half the time you're just like literally sitting there watching the client do their reps, right? And they don't need an extra cue every single rep, okay? And so when you've got 4 clients, you're not really giving them less attention than you are. You can still give everyone their own individualized program, their own special cues, all of that stuff in a 4-on-1 group. So they get basically the same value as a 1-on-1, plus they get the value of community, which is, for a lot of people, is more valuable, and they get it for a lower price. So everyone's a winner. And also large groups. So if you're doing like 10 plus people in a session, even better when you get to 14 plus. If you're doing, say, 10 people charging $20 or pounds, right, that's $200 per session, right? So that's really good margin. If you're doing 15 people at 20 per session, that's $300 per session, right? Whereas if you're in a group of like 5, 6, 7, 8, something that level, in my view, 6 people is too big for the clients to receive that same amount of personal attention that they do in a 4-on-1 or a 1-on-1. So you can't really advertise it as a premium session. You can't charge that same $50 or pound or whatever rate. But there's not enough clients in the room for you to charge $20 and still make good money. So I think that kind of like 5 to 9 is kind of like a dead zone where you don't make good money. 4 is awesome. 10 plus is awesome. That's the conclusion that I've come to after playing with those numbers quite a bit. And you can make decent money teaching 1-on-1s, but you nowhere near as much as you can make teaching 4-on-1s. And so I will link to this template in the PDF lecture notes as well. Anything else? All right, well, I hope you found this helpful. I hope you implement some or all of this, and I would love to know how you go. So I'm assuming you follow me on social media because that's where we've advertised this. So just DM me, let me know how you're going, if you're struggling or have questions, if you're having successes, I would really love to know about that. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day, evening, night, or morning, and see you soon.